Welcome back, winners. My name is Michael, and welcome to episode 26 of the Outside Bet. Happy New Year, everyone, and here is to your 2026. I hope it's the best year ever for each and every one of you. I am back with a preview of this week's Premier League action and a free big bet on one of Wednesday night's games. As ever, please like and subscribe and comment on the YouTube video. Leave us a 5-star review if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast. As I said, this is a Premier League special. We're inside because I am waiting on someone to fix our drains, and also it's too cold for our dog to go outside. Sorry about that. Although this is a podcast on the Premier League, there will be another podcast out, episode 27, immediately after this, which is a European preview show, as you guys have expressed an interest on preview shows being isolated. So this one's on the Premier League, and then later there will be another one out. We will run through all the games, some thoughts, a few of our leans, and how we are thinking ahead of the Premier League slate this midweek at the end, or it's been a very long run of football. This will be a usual length podcast, aiming to be about 10 minutes with the free big bet at the end as usual. And I'll give you a clue, it's definitely not going to be on Spurs. We've only got the trades and the leans from the Premiership in this podcast, as I said. The full bets and all the leans are with the private WhatsApp group members already. The data sheets and predictions are with the patrons. Here is the data sheet in question for the Premier League. The complete and detailed set of all of the leans are with the upper tier patrons, so thank you for their support. And the free big bets on YouTube are coming in at the end of each episode, which this is one. So please, you can keep an eye out for another pod during the week. I'm sure it'll be later in the week when we start seeing the weekend odds come through, although we have cup action this week in the UK, and that will stop us having any bets in the UK. So moving on to find us a detailed look at the Premier League. I've got the data sheet, as I already showed you, and we're going to preview the games one by one. But we won't go into much depth on all of them. You know me, it's not really about the preview. We can talk a bit about the clubs, and after 5 or 6 minutes total podcast, we will move on to the free big bet, which will come at the end. So the first game is the Tuesday night game, which is between the two beleaguered sides of West Ham and Notts Forest. I mean, this is so important, this game. Despite all the other games this week, I think you'll agree that this is going to be one of the most important. It's going to be more a question of who sacked their manager, who hasn't sacked their manager by the time this starts. I mean, it's almost certain that West Ham's manager will have gone. Manchester United's manager has gone. Chelsea's manager hasn't been appointed. We are into the crazy system. Is it beyond the pale that Sean Dyche gets sacked this week? Not at all. Marinakis is a nutter. That makes this game so important. One of these two teams is going to go down this year. That is my prediction. The question is it going to be Nottingham Forest or is it going to be West Ham? And West Ham are in the worst position, and this is their home game. Our model has this as a draw, low scoring, maybe 1-1. Very hard to split the teams, and this would never be a bet for us in a million years. We would not go near something like this. Moving on to the Palace and the Villa. Palace have run out of steam, and that's why we would take any pinch of salt on a supremacy to Palace here, even if it came up, which it doesn't, of course, because they're playing Villa. And so there's no value anywhere on this market. Villa are still on form. They might have lost to Arsenal, but everyone can lose to Arsenal. Let's be honest, this is a solid bet to avoid. It's going to be 2-1, I suspect, 3 goals in total. You can get over 2.5s on quite a few markets, and that's half a goal value. And so that might be worth trading. The overs, if you want to know how to trade the overs, please have a quick look around at any of the betting sites online. There's loads of ways of trading overs, over 2.5s, over 1.5s, or anything like that. Moving on to Fulham-Chelsea, it's a derby. Fulham are on form. Chelsea played really well at the weekend, but they'll have another new manager. It's probably just to avoid the game. It's a local derby. Who knows how that game's going to turn out. If the best Chelsea turn up, they win. If the best Chelsea don't turn up, Fulham probably do. They are on fire. Moving on to a game where there is genuine value, and that's Brentford-Sunderland, and the genuine value is in Brentford's supremacy. Sunderland aren't as good away from home. They're also very tired, running on empty, and have had a brilliant Christmas period, so fair play to Sunderland for that. But travelling down to London on the last Wednesday of the whole lot, before the Cup, I think, to be honest, this might be a game too far. We've got Brentford winning this by 1.37 goals, and a lot of the street has Brentford winning this by half a goal. So that's a 0.87 goals situation, and that means we would strongly like to trade a Brentford win. Hey, if you want to trade a Brentford win, why don't you wait 15 minutes into the game before putting a bet on? As long as Brentford are dominating, as long as the expected goals are starting to tick up for Brentford, there's lots of ways to trade it, but you get the idea. Bournemouth, Tottenham will leave because our free bet's in that game. Man City, Brighton, standard Man City win. Brighton are terrible on the road, especially as Man City love playing Brighton. Brighton are a complete Jekyll and Hyde side this season. They could win, they could lose, and Man City are in disarray. I can't see them thrashing anyone in the short term, but they've still got Haaland and they've still got Reinders. And with those two playing and a random Cherky performance, it could be any score from 3-2 to 1-0 to Man City. Man City have got no defenders and they haven't looked that good at the back anyway. Quick glances we're at 6 minutes, so quick glances at Everton to 2-goal game we suspect against Wolves. That could be 1-0, 1-1, or 2-0 to Everton is probably the two results. I wouldn't bet on that game. There's no value there. Likewise, Burnley, Man United. The model is showing a Man United win. Now, if Man United have just sacked Amorim, they will need an interim manager for this game. They'll probably pick Fletch, and if they do, they'll probably have a fair amount of continuity, but they'll beef up the positional play. With that in mind, they could bounce and win this game. Burnley are poor. They have lost so many games, and I think they could be the next person to sack their manager with Scott Parker going this week, especially if they lose that game. With the manager news and with Burnley being quite close, I will go that Man United are going to win this 2-1, which is what our model's got. Newcastle Leeds is the last game on Wednesday. Routine Newcastle win. Leeds look exhausted. They've played really well, Leeds, a bit like Sunderland, but this is the end of the road for them. And Newcastle are immense at home. Wouldn't surprise me if Bruno G got another couple of goals or one goal, and it wouldn't surprise me if this was a win to nil, but I've got 2-1 in the model, but it's a very narrow 2-1, 1.64 to 0.85 to give you a little look inside how the data works. Last game preview is the 2.9 goals our model has, which is a 2-1 win to Arsenal over Liverpool. I am very, very surprised if Arsenal don't win this comfortably. They've got the revenge from earlier in the season where that game was going to 0-0 and Liverpool luckily won it 1-0. Liverpool have been awful and Arsenal have not been. Arsenal should win this comfortably. If they bring their entire game, this could be 3-0. And if it was a thrashing, it could be a problem for Slot. But anyway, as the time is coming up to 8 minutes, and that's normally the maximum time we like to do on the big bet, I will bring the timestamp in at 8 minutes, as I prefer to do, and introduce you to the big bet. Welcome everyone to the big bet from episode 26 of the podcast. Please like and subscribe on the YouTube video and leave us a 5-star review if you're listening to the audio pod. If you're watching this on TikTok, it means the bet was a winning bet. So please come over and watch us on YouTube and you can actually get these bets before the bet has happened. That is the point. The point is to get the bets before the match, not after. As you know, we're back in the Premier League for this big bet and we're heading to Bournemouth. Let's keep our run going on both the free big bets and the Premier League as a whole, where we've been super successful. WhatsApp members already have all the bets and the patrons have the data sheets and leans, etc. So let's head to the Bournemouth-Tottenham game on Wednesday night. Now, we currently have great value on Bournemouth supremacy. Our model has 3.0 goals for the game, and this is split 2.12 to 0.85 in favour of the home team. This implies a Bournemouth supremacy of 1.27 goals, and the market across the street has even values at plus a quarter, which is actually minus a quarter, but it's a quarter of a goal supremacy to Bournemouth, which shows that there is 1 goal of value at better than evens, which is our minimum requirement. Now, we know that some of you won't bet as low as evens and you won't take our advice and you won't bet on 50-50s like we do, but that's okay, because as long as the Asian value has that line, so that as long as your bookmaker has the same half a goal, quarter of a goal handicap for Bournemouth supremacy when we have 1.25 in our model for the supremacy on the game, then all of their other bets, which are derived off the Asian lines and the supremacy lines, will flow. So your bet builders, your longer price bet builders, as long as they're derivatives of a home win, then they will also have great value. Also remember that this value will not last. The bell icon on YouTube is so important. If you subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon, you will get this bet the second it is put out. And that is when the value at evens will be on there most. As the game goes towards kickoff, the value will go. So come on, Bournemouth. Happy New Year to you all. And all that remains to be said is good luck, goodbye, be safe, everyone, and be nice to each other. I love you lots.